Halloween is coming. We love watching horror movies, and 2020 has got some premieres that will definitely give us goosebumps. How many times do we have to say Candyman to see its comeback to the screens? Which horror movie has been officially recognized as America's national heritage? Which cult fairy tale will become a thriller? Will there be a sequel of The Quiet Place? And other movies you can't miss. Hi, I'm Tim, and you're watching Ossa'm Movies. Grudge. What Americans are really scared of is haunted houses. That's another movie about it. A single mother who works as a detective is investigating a mysterious case about a woman who killed her own family in their own house. Soon, it becomes clear that the very same house, which by the way, is located next to the main character's house, has been cursed by a mystical ghost who condemns to death everyone who has anything to do with it. The detective is trying to save herself and her child. This movie is a remake of the 2004 The Grudge, which itself is a remake of a Japanese movie by Takashi Shimizu. The producer of the movie is Sam Raimi, and we're happy to know that he's back working on horror movies. Andrea Riseborough, John Cho, and William Sadler will star in the movie, directed by Nicholas Pesce, who worked on the incredible movie Piercing in 2018. We'll see how the authors managed to rethink the well-known plot in January of the next year. Gretel and Hansel. The idea that seemed to be right out there will find its way to the big screens at the end of January 2020. Despite the fact that all the promo has the movie's slogan as a grim fairy tale, it looks like the creators took a few steps away from the original story. We don't know any details of the plot, but the movie's logline sounds as, a long time ago in a distant fairy tale countryside, a young girl leads her little brother into a dark wood in desperate search of food and work, only to stumble upon a nexus of terrifying evil. The trailer does look horrific though. Retro aesthetics, two lost children, a mysterious old witch, and dark woods. Oz Perkins, who created February with Emma Roberts, is in charge. If there's anything better than mysterious, vicious horror, it's horror based on a good old fairy tale. Escape Room 2. Escape Room is one of the most popular attractions of today's world, and it's no surprise the cinematographers got inspired to create a horror about the attraction with an escape from enclosed space. The first movie that aired this year was quite a niche, but it made $155 million and paid itself off, as its budget was only $9 million. In the first movie, four friends find themselves stuck in an escape room with a demonically possessed killer. We think the second movie will be quite close to an original version in its conception, but we expect to feel even more horrified at its premiere in the spring of 2020. A Quiet Place 2. Another story about a mysterious house filled with terrifying monsters that react to every sound. Characters have to create their own sign language and try not to make a single sound in order not to wake the evil creatures up, but with little kids, it's just impossible. The movie has become incredibly popular, and with a budget of $17 million, it made more than $340 million. Its sequel was just a matter of time. John Krasinski will be playing the main character again. We know him well from comedy mockumentary The Office. The trailer has the atmosphere of the first movie, a suspense, and a quiet silence that's tight as a drum. The movie will be in theaters March 20th. Saw 9. While we call it 9, we actually have no idea what another movie of the cult franchise will be called, but the new movie will be the 9th one. It seems that everything possible has already happened in the previous movies, but it seems that the author's fantasy is inexhaustible.
I want to play a game.
The date of the premiere has already been announced. It's May 15th, 2020, and a few big names have been called. Oscar-winning Samuel L. Jackson and comedian Chris Rock will portray the leading characters. These names, and the fact that the movie's producer is James Wan, who's already been mentioned in this video as the creator of the Conjuring universe, gives us hope that the new slasher will be as enchanting as its previous parts. Which Saw movie is your favorite? Share with us in the comments below. Candyman. It's not our fault that these days Hollywood studios are mostly doing reboots and sequels, but we have no right not to mention those. Many of us still don't dare to say Candyman 5 times in front of the mirror because we remember what it might lead to since our childhood. The legendary Candyman, who had his arm cut and coated with honey and left to be eaten by the bees, first appeared in 1992. And now, 28 years after, the detective horror is getting its second wind. Tony Todd will be playing the Candyman again, as he did in all 3 previous movies about the mysterious murderer. This story really is horrifying. It's mysterious and full of puzzles. Those are a few reasons why we definitely suggest you don't miss it when it airs on June 12th. The Conjuring 3. Hell yeah! The Conjuring, a horror story of excellent taste, inspired by the movies of the 70s. The first movie paid its budget off 15 times. The story about paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were trying to solve the riddle of a cursed house, became a real breakthrough. It also created the whole media empire, the Conjuring universe that already has 8 movies, including the announced The Conjuring 3. The plot of the upcoming sequel is still a secret, but speaking of the franchise back in 2016, the universe creator James Wan said there could be many more Conjuring movies because the Warrens have so many stories. It's well known that Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson will be back as the Warrens, and the plot will be based on a real story from the American paranormal investigators. The shooting started back this June, and in August Farmiga said that all the scenes were finished. The premiere is planned for September 11th of 2020, and we are looking forward to it, as The Conjuring is one of those franchises, which movies are never a disappointment. Halloween Kills. The Halloween story started back in 1978, when the first movie of a young cinematographer John Carpenter aired on screens. As he revealed, the idea of the legendary franchise wasn't really his. "I was finishing directing a TV movie called Someone's Watching Me, when Erlen Yablans called and said, 'Why don't we set it on Halloween night? In fact, why don't we call it Halloween?' I have to give him credit. So Deborah and I began writing. The script for the first movie was written in just 3 weeks, and since then Halloween, the story of serial killer Michael Myers, has been listed in National Film Registry as of cultural, historical, or aesthetic value. The remake of 2018, according to the critics, has been far better than the original version, and was a terrifying yet moving reflection on trauma and post-traumatic stress through the intergenerational lens of the Strode family. After a successful reboot in 2018, 2 more movies, Halloween Kills, to air in 2020, and Halloween Ends, planned for 2021, were announced. We'll see Jamie Lee Curtis in all the movies, just like in the very first Halloween, and this really is one of the most anticipated movies of 2020. We'll be able to watch Halloween Kills next fall. We've told you about the big upcoming premieres so that you know what a real horror lover should not miss. Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and don't be afraid of anything. Stay awesome, everybody!